Hey guys, it's July 28th, and I'm out back where we're going to plant trees next year. It's a weedy mess. I planted sugar beets earlier in this spring, and uh, I didn't put down enough residual. Of course, that's a double edged sword because I didn't want to put too much down because I don't want anything to carry over that's going to affect the trees. But anyway, um, the sugar beets did come up. I'm going to show you that. Um, but we're going to go ahead and mow everything off. I don't have to mow it off. It's just going to be a little bit easier to disc. And I already have the mower hooked up, so I might as well do that. And we'll walk you through all that. So we're going to mow it, then I'm going to hook up the disc. We're going to disc it. The whole idea here, or the goal, is that in 2 weeks, we're going to have, it's going to, the tillage is, that's probably how much the tillage is going to buy us, depending on rain. I mean, there's no guarantee. And then I'm gonna hope that we get a new flush of weeds, and then I'm gonna come in here with low residual herbicide, or pretty much no residual herbicide. So that's Roundup and Liberty, glufosinate and glyphosate. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll spray that off, and then I'm going to spread the rye. We'll drag it, and then hopefully we get a rain. It'd be ideal to drill it, but I don't have a drill and I can't really justify getting one. So, but anyway, I'll show you what this looks like, and then I'll walk you through the mowing, the disking, and then when it comes time to spray it, I'm going to walk you through how to calculate all that out. I'm just going to use my four-wheeler sprayer. It's perfect for this kind of situation, and how I calibrate that and all that. So here's the mess that we're dealing with. Okay. Here's actually the sugar beets, and I planted that with my John Deere 7000, and I realized they're hard to see in here, but that actually worked pretty well. I just used Milo plates, put down a quarter Roundup and a pint of S-Mock, and I didn't want to do any more with the S-Metolachlor because I was a little bit concerned about that carrying over in the trees. I'm sure I could have went, 24 ounces or something and been fine, but it was just a risk I wasn't willing to take, and I kind of figured this would happen, but that's okay. What I really want to see is I had a talk with a gentleman when I was getting my tires put on my company pickup for Farmers Business Network, and he's like, you should really plant rye. And I'm like, wow. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I seem to just, they always seem to want, go to my corn versus like turnips and radishes. I said, why would I want to plant rye? And he's like, well, think about it, dude. It's the only thing that's still green late in the wintertime. Now that's assuming that we don't let it get to boot before it freezes. That's also key, but that's also why I'm planting that towards the end of August. Now the other thing that's neat about the rye is if it does get too tall and I'm worried about that happening, I can come out and clip it off and we'll be fine. But I am kind of eager to see what happens, and if this is something that the deer really like, I'll start incorporating that into my food plots. But it's kind of a test, really the ultimate goal here is to all be trees. So I'm back behind my house, and then we're going to plant another shelter belt up by the road, and then I also have some CRP that I'm going to plant right next to the road because Aurora County isn't going to allow me to plant right next to the road. You have to be 108 feet from the center of the road. So I'm going to come in 108 feet. We're going to plant our trees, and then in between my trees and the road is going to be CRP, which I'm going to basically do the same thing I'm doing with the rye. I'm just going to do that later on, and we're gonna fall seed it. So we'll drag it, and we'll spread it and drag it, and hope it works. I wish I could drill all this stuff, but I mean, a drill costs 20,000. That's a small no-till drill, and that's nothing incredibly fancy. And I just, even through my food plot business that I do, I don't have enough of that work to justify buying it. So that's kind of a poor man's way. But we're going to walk you through mowing it, which isn't really necessary. You don't have to do it. I could just come in here with a disc. But I already have the mower hooked up, so why not? It's going to make things a little bit easier. And so we'll mow it, disc it, and then I'll wait, and I'll show you guys. I'll wait a few weeks once we get some new weed pressure, and then I'll show you guys how I mix everything and spray it and walk you through that. All right, we're in the old 986, because when you farm for food plots, you ain't got any money, so that's all you can afford. But we got the 15-foot batwing hooked up. Show you what that looks like. And then, yeah, we'll get her fired up and get going. It does a pretty dang good job. You can take out a lot of stuff with this. Mostly use it for when I had my CRP put in. The only way to really control weeds effectively is to mow it, and then eventually the switchgrass and a few other varieties, they take over. So I mowed my CRP about what? 4 times total, and it's really came through. But the other thing that this mower has given me the ability on my business is I can do custom mowing for guys. I charge about 20 bucks an acre to do that. You run this mower about what, it's 15 feet wide at 5-6 mile an hour. It comes out to be about 100 bucks an hour is what you make. So that's what's nice about doing some custom, is you can kind of help pay for your mower. This mower cost me $3,500. I kind of got a decent deal on it on Weeman's auction, and they had a few things wrong with it. I had to put a new cylinder, lift cylinder on it, and that was what, I can't remember. I think it's like $200-300. And then the hinge is broken on the one side, which I got to weld that back on. For now, I'm sure you've seen that chain hooked to it, so that works all right. But you know, for whatever, about $4,000, 15-foot batwing, that ain't bad. Surprised I didn't bash my head in with a rock there. That's that's not a great place to be if you got some rocks and you're brush hogging. That's a good way to die. All right, we got that job done. Go get this thing unhooked, hook up the disc, and start discing. Well, I have no idea what just happened, but my side window just shattered. Shit! Yeah, farm for food plots, that's a ton of fun. I recommend it to anybody. Well, I really don't know what happened. I must have, maybe when that rock hit the tractor, it cracked the window, but yeah, she just shattered out of there. So I guess we will get a 5-gallon bucket and try and get as much glass as we can cleaned up. Well, I guess we can be grateful it was the window and not my head. So I just ordered one off All-State Egg Parts, and that's $91 I'll never get back, but whatever, we gotta have it. So I'm gonna clean this up quick and then we'll unhook the mower and continue disking. So this is my 16-foot John Deere disc. It's I tell you what, I wouldn't want anything bigger because that's about all this tractor can handle. And it works fine when it's dry, but when it's a little bit wet, it's a recipe for disaster. But I paid $900 for this on an auction, and I think I did pretty good because shortly after I bought it, I got a call from the auctioneer, and there's some guy up there that said he would pay me double if I was willing to let it go, and I decided to keep it. But it's been a really good disc, and anyway, we'll get to working this quick, and we'll be done for the day, and then we'll follow back up with the spraying and then the spreading. And got that piece of work. We'll work the one in the back. We're gonna call it a day. So it's worth mentioning that the reason I run a disc is because I don't harvest my food plots, so I have a lot of trash out there. And this year I was really hoping to just mow it, or brush hog it. But what ended up happening is we got so wet that I decided to go ahead and disc it. And if I was to run like a field cultivator or something, it would turn into a giant hay rake. I do think a field cultivator does a better job than what a disc does. And it doesn't create near the compaction. But for what I do, a disc really is the only way to go. So that's why I run it. But anyway, we're going to follow up here when we come back to spray it. I'm going to leave the disc hooked up. I might end up disking it one more time. We'll see how quick these weeds come back and what kind of kill we got on them with just the disc. But anyway, we'll kind of measure that out, and that'll be part of our next segment.